Hi, my name is Connor Cross and I've been a practicing musician for the last 15 years, and even at 27 I'm still learning new things about it. There is a deep fascination around music and what it does for us. From the music creators to the music lovers to all those that are involved in music in some kind of way or another. I'm hoping that the show will offer an insight into everything. Now I would like to invite you and everybody else present to come with me and step into the groove.
3, 2, 1.
One, two, one. Not too loud, is it okay, yeah? I'm in a hyper mood, I'll blast it. Okay, so I'm here with Jack. Jack, how do you feel that the first part of your performance went?
Nerve-wracking. The sound system just didn't work as I wanted it to.
I was going to say, man, the hair's changed a lot since the start of the performance, hasn't it?
Feel sweaty.
Nah, man, you had some bangers in there, some really, really good performing. I loved the use of the stomp box as well. How the hell do you do that, man?
To be honest, it's just a lot of patience, really. You can't even Google it. You can't even YouTube tutorial it.
Fantastic. Well, good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
Chin chin. Okay, everybody, so I'm here with Mr. Jack Evans. Thank you very much for coming down to the pub with me, mate. Didn't take much convincing. My first question on the list, mate, is what was your first musical experience? Like, what was the first experience you had with, like, playing an instrument or, you know, maybe playing music with somebody else?
I mean, if you want to talk about very first musical experience, I remember my mum, when I was little, my mum had a friend who had a child drum kit, and I remember having a bang on that. But in all fairness, I managed to get a really battered old acoustic guitar back when I was 14. I thought, you know, this is what I wanted to do. And the first thing I actually remember with it, even though I had it, it was my brother. He tried to trick me to say he could play guitar because he put his phone in the guitar.
Yeah.
Inside the sound hole, and then he put a guitar track on and he pretended that he was playing, and I knew no difference. So I was like, how has he learned that before me?
I thought you were going to say he had like one of them iRig things. Have you ever used that?
I use the iRig, yeah, I do. Yeah. I've got the new one.
The days of Amplitude and where you get all the Marshall and Fender packs. Those were brilliant.
That's what I used to use actually. When I first got the Fender, I didn't have an amp. Didn't have anything like that. I just had a jack lead, pair of headphones. Thought, you know what, I'd get the iRig online and then I'd use the GarageBand effects on your phone.
Yeah, mate, honestly, top class for, you know, when you're in the middle of nowhere or where you haven't got something, you know, recording studio wise to kind of go, all right, let's put this idea in, then you get back home and then you sort of do the proper thing. But for anybody who doesn't know what iRig is, essentially it's a little dongle that you plug into your iPhone or Android, and it's like software where it's like a guitar emulator, and you can get Marshall amps, Fender amps, all different kinds of effects. I remember there was one they had like they had a certain pedal, and I think I paid £1 for it. It was like this Roto Chorus or something else like that, and it sounded
was
like
it like a MIDI thing that like hooks up onto it, or?
No. It was in the actual app itself, and I remember I really wanted it because it meant that I could sound like Andy Taylor playing Rio.
That was like do you know the Guitar Tabs app?
Yeah.
They had a separate app built for the iRig, and so any song you find on Guitar Tabs, you click on that, and you can click on the pedal board, and it'll take you over to the app, and you could use it. So you want a Dire Straits tone for Money for Nothing, it would give you that exact tone.
Oh. My next question on the list for you, influences. So whether that be family, whether that be friends, other artists, independent, mainstream, who was your kind of go-to to kind of look up to for a bit of, something to kind of grab onto and go, I want to be like this, or I want to aspire to play like this?
So, my mum's always been great with song ideas, song suggestions, because whilst growing up, I've probably heard any decent song going. So that was like that. The earliest thing I can remember is singing like "Sweet Dreams," "I Made of These," or "Bad Day" in the car when I was little. But that kind of helped to expand my repertoire for when I actually did music. But if anyone, it's I hooked onto Paolo Nutini and Ed Sheeran mainly. Then it followed onto Eric Clapton. But I'd say for people who are around locally, I'd say Joshua Soul and Connor Purcell.
Yeah. My next question for you was most memorable performances. So I remember you saying to me prior to this about 2021 being quite a golden year for you.
That was a really big year for me. At the start, the solo career took a really big... From just busking, I didn't really do many gigs. It took a major bump for first a solo career, and I started my first actual on-set duo, and from there gigs just went mental, and they still do to this day. But 2021, I'd say that was my best year in music going.
Well, at the time, it was still during COVID times, so people were still like left really quite damaged and vulnerable at the time. So I think they really needed that. Do you know what I mean? Really needed that.
I can't say that I benefited anybody. I'm not the biggest person in the world, but I think it did alright. It's something nice to listen to when you're walking through town centre. Yeah,
absolutely, Matt. At the end of the day, someone's going on their way to the shops and they hear you, and the next thing you know, they're like, you know what, this guy's all right. I'm gonna have to try and poach him and find him and see if I can steal him for my venue or for some kind of gig. You know what I mean?
I mean, the Three Furnaces ate that. Yeah, they were the first ones to pick. They were the first gig I actually booked in 2021, and I went in to be like, look, I've got this duo on the go. I promise you, it'll be the best thing going. And they put us on, and since then, like it kind of that duo expanded. It kicked off because of Furnaces.
Yeah. I wanted to have a little talk to you about your equipment. So give me a little bit of insight into your sort of equipment, and how you sort of gone through the last few years where you've been doing music.
I religiously stand by the Cube, the Roland Cube, or Boss really. But it's a brilliant speaker. Whether you get the first edition, which is I think it's just the Street Cube, that will last you 16 hours on AA batteries. Apparently it says, but I mean I've used it for a good amount of busks on one pair.
Yeah.
And the effects on board are brilliant. Nothing too fancy, nothing too small. Got a great amount of sound. But I use a Roland Cube Street X now. It's a brilliant speaker, and to be honest, it's knocked the PA kit out of the park. Now if I go to a gig, I don't take a big PA with me. I just take the Cube. One small speaker covers the whole pub, and it's brilliant.
And you don't know what you've got no real wires either, apart from like maybe a XLR cable, or maybe a 1/4 inch jack cable.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, like that's one of the best speakers, I'd say. If you are a busker and you want to start doing gigs, I'd get a Cube. It saves you so much money and saves you so much time.
So my Roland Cube.
Oh yeah.
Not only have I used it for guitar, not only have I used it for singing.
Yeah.
I also took it up the Wrekin so that I could blast my tunes as loud as I could going up it.
I mean, it's a good speaker for that. You just get the little backpack they sell for it. It's a loudspeaker. It's pretty brilliant.
Taking a Roland Cube up there, it was just sort of like as if to say, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
It's like, you got this boombox, so you're back in like the early 2000s, so have you got the boombox over your shoulder, the double D batteries for it. But other than a Cube, I tend to use a loop pedal in all my performances, whether that's busking or not. I use a Boss ME70 for the acoustic, and then I use a Boss GT100 multi-effects for an electric guitar. They're bloody brilliant. The Boss ME70, I'll use it with my loop pedal mainly for one, it's cheap as chips compared to buying each pedal individual. But the octaver on it, to make my guitar sound like a bass, it's brilliant. Add that with a bit of compression and you're sorted. It sounds like you're actually playing a bass guitar and not, one of those weird bass sounding pedals that will work on a guitar. It's brilliant.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, Roland, top class equipment there.
If I could get sponsored by them, I would.
Who knows, man? Who knows? It could happen. And so the next question I wanted to ask you was, what is your funniest moment whilst you've been performing? Whether it be on the stage or whether you've been busking.
Whilst busking, we had this bloke. So it was in Telford. We have fair rules when it comes to busking. We don't do, like, I've been to Leeds, I've been to London, and most people are like, right, I've got a spot, I'm staying here for the whole day. Just shift on. But in Telford, we just go, right, you're here, I'm here. Do you want to do 30 minutes each? We work something out and we keep it, all nice and friendly.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll all go, what songs do you know? Let's have a jam. During Christmas time, I'd say about 2020, yeah. And we, everyone was out for shopping and everything. There's no Christmas markets because, of course, it's in the midst of lockdown. This wasn't whilst lockdown was happening, so no one shoot me for that. But me and 3 other musicians in Telford, we went busking and we all did like a 4-man busk. And this bloke came up to us who was coming into 7 o'clock at night and asked us for a lighter. And he went down the chain of all the musicians. No, and came to me and I said, I don't have a lighter. And he was old and I was about 16 at the time. And he turns around and he's like, so I know you've got a lighter. And he started trying to intimidate me. So everyone was like, hang on a minute, leave him alone. But then out of nowhere, as this bloke's starting to get a high rate, we just see this big bodybuilder bloke who'd watched us for quite a bit of time come up, pick him up, throw him over his shoulder like a babby and just carry on walking down the road with him.
Oh.
Since that day, the bloke came back and he got a picture with us. And then we called it Crackhead Christmas. I just felt like I was getting picked on because I was the youngest one there.
I bet that goes down really well in just a standard conversation with someone. Oh yeah, do you remember Crackhead Christmas? Oh yes, it was a wonderful time.
It genuinely works. But on terms of like a full performance, so what I do when I work as an acoustic duo is I have 2 microphones for myself and I have 1 microphone for the singer. So they'll sing or whatnot and play their instrument. And me, I have 2 microphones, 1 for main vocals and 1 for the loop pedal. So that's at the side of me here. And half the time it's a bit behind because I don't want anything looping to get caught. So what I did, we were singing the songs and every musician has this moment where they just super focus on stage. They kind of black out, they know what they're playing, they know what they're doing, crowd's having a good go. And all of a sudden, we've gone from the crowd singing back at us and us singing the songs to a voice come through the monitor, like the speaker in front of me. I was like, that's not one of us, what's that? Some bloke hopped up on the side of the stage, saw my microphone and just started singing. He was absolutely knockout drunk, but he started singing. No one said a word, so he was like, right, we're going to drop out and let him continue to sing the song as I play. And it worked. Unfortunately, he got through out afterwards, but I found it quite funny. Because it is quite funny. It made me jump. I was like, whose voice is that? Oh, wait, it's you. Who are you?
Yeah, it's like you think there's a voice coming from like heavens above, you know what I mean? It's like, where is this voice? Is someone trying to come back to me and convey a message of some kind?
And we've had people try get our microphones when busking. We'll of course have the drunk crowd. You laugh and you play along, but there's
a limit in that.
There is a limit. I was busking, and some bloke. So I got my speaker behind me, and some blokes come, and he's turned one of the knobs on my speaker, being the effect knob. So my acoustic guitar just went distortion to then cut off, and I was like, "What's that?" And I saw him. He's messing with my speaker. And I was like,
"Fuck's sake!"
I was like, "Can you please not mess with my speaker?" Like, I said as a joke because I know it looks cool, but could you not? But there's certain boundaries when you do busking and performances. I know some people may not get them, but general common sense, really. To be fair, I always look at it with open eyes. I'm just like, oh, you could say it got knocked. Where I've seen some musicians, I've seen this one bloke in London. If you busk on the London Bridge, it is a very slim walkway. So I don't get how people busk or sell from carts on there, because I would not deal with the space.
No.
Someone's walked past this bloke speaking, it's on YouTube, and he threw a fit because it knocked and the microphone got a bunch of feedback, and I was like, could have just turned around and seen what the problem was, and then just like, oh, it's alright, you only knocked into it, it's okay. But But no, I tend to look at things just a bit like, oh, it's a happy accident.
Yeah. The Goals tour.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a bit about that, man, because I remember you telling me about you going off with this band. What's the story behind that one?
So I was in Telford Town Centre quite early on during the day, and this band come to me. I remember it was Eddie Ogle. He's a brilliant guitarist. He's ran up to me and said, "Oh, busker, because I have my busking kit, so you could obviously make put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Do you want to come on tour?" He asked. And I was like, "This seems dodgy. I'm probably going to get thrown in the back of the van and kidnapped, but let me come check it out, and then yeah, we'll see what the crack was." Went to Costa, got my coffee, and kind of woke up properly, and then I've gone and had a look. And they're a brilliant band. The songs that they played, they've got something there for everyone. If you stuck the Ghouls, I'd say from the 70s onwards, I'd say they'd be up there. They'd be up there in the charts.
Yeah. Really versatile kind of band. Really hard hitting.
They've got their songs. You look at the genre and you'd be like, that's not going to be for everyone. But then you go to their gigs and you're like, wait, hang on a minute, it is for everybody. Like I've seen, like, you know, you got so say your stereotypes. Yeah, you got drill, and then you assess that with the Roadmen. No, I've seen people like that dancing around to the Ghouls music, and I'm like, I want to be like that. I want to have my set of songs that are all originals that will get anyone going.
Yeah, which will invite a bigger audience, and not just like a small contained.
They pull
sort of
in
stereotype.
They travel 24/7. They've gone to Germany, and they've done bits like everywhere across the UK. But I went to see them in Shrewsbury that same evening because I wasn't a bit hooked at the time. But then when I went to Shrewsbury, I spoke to a few people who knew who they were, and they said, "No, they're a brilliant band. Honestly, if they've given you the opportunity, go along with them." And I went along with them, and it was nerve-wracking because I literally just took my busking kit, got a bag of clothes. I was like, yeah, I'm disappearing for 2 weeks. Didn't tell my dad, didn't tell my mum, and I didn't tell him until I was halfway there, because then they can't say no, can they? I was fortunate enough to learn some of their songs by watching their performances and listening to them, and performing with them in, I believe it was Cheltenham. I performed with them and opened for them in Birmingham, Portsmouth.
Yeah, you did it in my hometown, mate.
Yeah, done loads of stuff. The most memorable parts of that tour, because we did two, and I just went along for like the fun and the music. Was I can't remember where we were meant to go to, but I know we were somewhere near Manchester. And Tally, the drummer, his van broke down, and there's a video of.
Oh shit! No way.
And that had all, like, you know, we had 3 vans and half them with the equipment and whatnot.
Yeah.
We had to stay in this random town for the night because his van broke down, and I remember you had about 8 of us pushing the van to jumpstart it, see what we could do. And after this, we're just falling all over the place. It's on Instagram somewhere, but we went to this pub. I believe it was Portsmouth, actually. Can't exactly remember. Formed like a open mic night jam session there.
Okay.
And it went bloody brilliant. Honestly, we had the odd person come in. Someone started playing the piano. They had an in-house piano. Someone started playing the keys, and it was what you'd imagine from a jam night folk session. It was absolutely brilliant.
Oh man, that's brilliant. It's like a little bit of gratification that what you do as a musician is doing something for people. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, otherwise, most people, and you probably agree with this, most people tell you if you're crap. Do you know what I mean?
It's given me a major platform. I mean, since then I started getting in touch with people in Leeds. I've got contacts with a lot of the people now who I have met or worked with because of that tour.
Yeah.
I went and played, myself and a singer named Eloise Orsini. We went and played up in Leeds for there's a place called Playrooms, which is owned by Tom Zanetti. They reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Hey, look, we've seen your work. Would you two like to come up and perform for us?" And we did that, and that was a big thing for us. I told my parents about it, and my mum was like, "You're joking with me," because she likes Tom Zanetti's music.
Yeah.
And my uncle Kev loves his music, and I was like, "No, I'm being serious. Look at these messages." And you know, it's things that tour has brought me that, honestly, I hope to go on my own tour sometime.
Mate, I'm sure it'll happen. It's just breaking through the mould in some ways, but at the end of the day, it sounds like you're already doing that. Honourable mentions in terms of musicians, artists, whether you've worked with them or whether they're inspirations.
I'd say, in terms of like honourable mentions, of course I'm not going to go shouting out no celebrity. I mean, they've already got their fair share of publicity. The Gulls, they've played a massive part in the past 2 years of my music career. Absolutely brilliant. It's taught me a lot of things. They've made me way better at my craft. Will has helped me with, like, just by watching him on stage, I'm like, hang on a minute, I want to incorporate stuff like this. Or he genuinely does just teach from watching him how to engage a crowd.
Yeah.
You got Killian with, just basic how to play the guitar. And there's so many riffs and different licks that you can do to make yourself sound 10 times better. Connor Purcell, he really pushed me to go forward with the loop pedal stuff.
Yeah.
And he's always been a bit of an inspiration. If I do something really cool with the loop pedal, that's not your standard what you hear on TikTok and YouTube, I know if I get his approval, I'm like, yeah, that's
it works.
class.
It works.
That's great. And when I first started, it was Joshua Soul. He when he first taught me about busking and everything like that, it kind of helped me push forward and get to where I am now. So that little jump has done well. It inspired a career, if you'd say.
Yeah, great man. Yeah, great list of names. And finally, what is a message that you give to any aspiring artists, musicians, in terms of your advice from your own personal experiences?
Everything to do with music now is running off social media. If you've not got 1,000 views behind you, 100,000 likes behind you, then you're not really considered as the best thing, like, to book or anything like that, which I think is absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen good acts that get no views, or you are like good acts that get no views, or you're not the best act. You got a good aesthetic to you, boom, it flies. It really does. You see, it depends. Social media is really weird. I don't want to get into it, but I know if I want to move forward with music, I'm going to have to do those jumping at the cameras, like, hey, I've got a new song, here it is, and post that about 1 million times until it comes out.
Do you want to try and practice that right now?
I really don't. But yeah, I'd say don't believe in whatever. Don't believe everything that any random person who wants to work with you on social media says. Be your own artist and just be confident in what you do. Because if you feel like you're on the right track, you most likely are. Because it's your music, it's no one else's, whether you do covers or not.
True words of wisdom there, man.